G'day guys, Cam Wild from Wild Touring. I'm in the shed with the D-Max today to talk to you about GVM on touring rigs. So if you don't know, Pedders has recently brought me on as a Pedders brand ambassador, which has meant they've helped me out with getting some flash new bits fitted to the car and allowed me to film in their workshop and basically drive their fitters mad with 13 billion questions while they're trying to fit stuff, which has been really cool for me, probably pretty annoying for them. But anyway, long before any sort of affiliation with Pedders, when I first bought this D-Max back in 2017, I got straight on to fitting heaps of touring mods, and it didn't take me long to realise that I was sneaking up over factory GVM before even towing anything. So I knew that I was going to need a GVM upgrade. I shopped around, spoke to heaps of people, got a wide range of quotes from many different companies, and decided on Pedders for a couple of reasons. Their kits are really well regarded in the industry. They're very competitively priced. Their stores are all over Australia for spares and warranty, so while I was travelling, that was going to be really handy. Not that I ever ended up needing it. And they manufacture and test their own products themselves, so they know them inside out. They're not simply piecing bits and pieces together of other brand stuff and offering it as a kit. They actually make the entire thing themselves. So for 3 years with a Pedders GVM upgrade, the old girl has seen 90,000 Ks of tough touring, including trips out to Steep Point, the most westerly point in Australia, inland through central Australia on the Great Central Road, across the Nullarbor and on the cliffs of the Great Australian Bight, up the tallest mountain in WA, Mount Meharry, the Googs Track, Oodnadatta Track, Tanami Track, up Cape Leveque, out to the Bungles, across the Gibb River Road, and just about everywhere in between. The setup has changed a few times. It's towed different trailers and caravans over the years, but it's always had a Pedders GVM upgrade underneath it, and it's always performed really well. So I've been quite happy to endorse the product with no sort of affiliation with Pedders over the years. So why does anyone actually need a GVM upgrade? Well, if you look at pretty much any full drive in Australia, they've generally got a payload of somewhere between 600 to 1,000 kilos. So for a very basic touring setup, if you put a family of 4 into a car with 80 litres of fuel, a fridge in the back full of food, a set of drawers with a few tools and some recovery gear, dual battery setup, a bull bar and a tow bar, me figuring out that very conservatively, you're already over 600 kilos. If you were to tow a 2.5 tonne camper or caravan with that vehicle, working off a 10% ball weight, you'd be taking another 250 kilos off your payload. Yes, the tow ball weight of your caravan, camper trailer, or whatever you're towing does impact your payload and your GVM, so you do need to take that into account as well. So with that extra 250 kilos, you'd be at 850 kilos now, which is already overweight for many vehicles, especially wagons. Wagons tend to have sort of 600 to 800 kilo payloads, and most utes will be closer to 1,000 kilos. Now that's before adding side steps, scrub bars, bash plates, winches, roof racks, water tanks, solar panels, second spare wheels, long range fuel tanks, canopies on utes, towing larger off-road vans, aftermarket tyres, rims, or even luggage. For me personally, at one point, just the vehicle itself had 1.5 tonne of payload in it. It doesn't now. I need to weigh it again when I finish all my latest mods. But my point is that it adds up really quickly. And I've built a few touring rigs over the years, and I've been conscious of weight in the back of my mind, and it still sneaks up on you. So if you exceed your payload, you're over your GVM, your gross vehicle mass. Your vehicle insurance is now void. If you have an accident, there's every chance that your insurer will deny your claim. If you're to injure or kill someone in an accident, you're going to be in an absolute world of pain. There's also a lot of talk on social media at the moment about the authorities pulling you over, weighing you, fining you if you're overweight, and then potentially making you remove all the excess weight until you're legal, leave it on the side of the road, and you've got to drive off and leave it, or arrange someone else to pick it up or whatever. Listen, I don't know if that's true or not. I've certainly never seen it. None of my family or friends have ever seen it or experienced it. But for me personally, and probably for you too, getting it legal is more about safety, and also because I've just invested too much into the vehicle and the caravan, I can't afford to lose it. I can't afford to have insurance deny my claim. So if you're planning to build a touring or towing vehicle, or you're looking at buying a new vehicle or a new caravan, it's so important to first look at the weights you're going to be working with, and then you need to plan your build accordingly. Like I said, weight sneaks up on you really quickly. I do recommend that you load up your vehicle with everything on it in terms of accessories, everything in it in terms of passengers, fuel, luggage, all the rest of it. If you're going to be towing something, hitch it up, load that up as well, fill the water tanks, take it over a public weighbridge. It doesn't cost you much. they'll print out a certificate where they break up your weights for you, and then you can figure out whether you're going to be in need of a GVM upgrade as well, or if you simply are able to, if you can just strip some weight off it to be legal. So a GVM upgrade increases your factory payload. By how much depends on what vehicle you've got. Some Pedders kits will increase your payload by up to 700 kilos. For me, with the D-Max, my factory GVM is about 2,950 kilos. And my new upgraded GVM with the Pedders kit is 3,450 kilos. So I gained 500 kilos of payload. So from about a ton of payload to about 1.5 ton of payload now. So after 3 years of abusing the suspension, I booked into my local Pedders to get them to give it a quick once over, have a look at it all. And I was stoked to find out that Pedders had actually been following our travels, and they offered us the Pedders brand ambassadorship and wanted to fit some cool new gear to the car, which was obviously really exciting. So here we are at my local Pedders. I've been here a few times and the workshop's always spotless like this, which is a really good indication that these blokes are proper professionals. Pedders actually came about in the 1950s when Roy Pedder, an ex-Royal Australian Air Force World War II plane welder, opened up a workshop and began repairing and then eventually producing its own shock absorbers. So these guys have obviously seen every make and model over the last 70 years. They're a wealth of information on anything suspension, steering or brakes. Depending on what vehicle you have, the kit required may vary. For me, it's simply a full suspension replacement with new shock absorbers, coils, leaf packs and bushes. Some vehicles may require brake upgrades or other bits and pieces. The shock absorbers used are Pedders' own TrakRyder foam cell shock. These are a heavy duty 40mm bore twin tube shock. This means they've got a larger oil capacity than OEM shocks. Internally, they have a closed cell foam sleeve that acts as a compressible medium that allows the displacement of fluid when the piston rod is compressed. This allows for a total oil fill, so there's no mixing of oil and gas. These features combined mean these shocks are really well designed for off-road driving and heavy loads because they dissipate heat well and won't suffer from shock fade. What that really means is you can do thousands of Ks of corrugations loaded right up and these shocks will perform really well. So Pedders are a second stage manufacturer. To get federal approval for these kits, they've had to carry out extensive testing to comply with Australian design rule and vehicle safety standards. Their suspension components are warranted for 2 years or 40,000 Ks, and claims can be accepted at any store Australia-wide, which is really handy if you're travelling. After any suspension components are replaced, Pedders will perform a wheel alignment to adjust camber, caster and tow. In terms of what you, the vehicle owner, has to do for compliance once you've had your kit fitted differs depending on whether you're getting a GVM upgrade fit to a brand new vehicle pre-registration, which is something that you'd organise through your dealer, or post-registration like I am. So for a pre-rego brand new car, the GVM upgrade is fit by Pedders, the car gets a federal approved compliance plate and that makes it legal in all states of Australia. Post-rego, like in my case, may differ from state to state, so I'd definitely chat to your local Pedders first. But for me in WA, once the kit was fitted by Pedders, they give me all the paperwork required. I take my vehicle to be weighed at a certified weigh bridge. They'll give me a certificate. Then I have it booked in to be checked by a licensed vehicle inspector. There's heaps of them now all over the place. I then submit all that paperwork to the licensing centre. So I am then good to travel anywhere in Australia with my new upgraded GVM. So anyway, Pedders will walk you through all of that process. Don't stress if it sounds too complicated. Just give them a buzz, tell them about your setup and they'll walk you through your options. They'll tell you exactly what they can do for you, exactly how much it's going to cost, and exactly what you need to do once it's been fitted. It's really simple, it truly is. I hope that helps you guys. I'm going to be doing another video down the track where I'm going to go into a little bit more detail explaining TARE, GVM, GCM, axle weights, toe ball weights, ATM, GTM, and how they all relate with one another in the simplest way that I can. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll take my car and van over the weighbridge again, show you how that process works, show you the certificate they give you, and then show you what all those numbers actually mean. Yeah, figuring it all out using my car as an example. I think that's the easiest way to do it. I've also got another Pedders video coming out pretty soon with some of the other upgrades I've had done recently, including a drum to disc conversion, some driveline and some front brake upgrades. So that's really cool. Keep an ey out for that. Hey guys, before I wrap this up, I just wanted to let you know that Pedders are involved in a free competition. They're giving away a brand new V6 VW Amarok. It's kitted out with Pedders suspension and brake upgrades and it's loaded up with 6 grand of camping gear. It's free to enter and I'll put a link in the description of this video. Huge thank you to Pedders for having me in their workshop and helping me out with all my upgrades, and a massive thank you to all you guys who support my channel by watching my videos. If you've got any questions or if you just want to make a comment, please leave them below and I'll answer them. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next one.